You hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay, good. Good, man. Thing super frustrating. I don't know why it keeps on cutting cutting out on me.
Sorry.
Yeah,
I'm on.
I was talking about earlier. I'm sure you heard me, but I'm going to do research on Google Hangouts. So hopefully we can use that because I think Google is much more effective. But anyways, then if you have any questions uh, you'd like to contribute to what we should be asking the users, yeah, let's hear them.
So I didn't hear. I've heard like maybe a third of what you guys have been talking about. So I'm trying to figure out how to get back on. So you could. Uh, so what I heard was we're gonna hit cafes. We're gonna hit restaurants. I was thinking we should hit gas stations too. Um, with convenience stores or just convenience stores in general. Uh,
Oh, okay. I think about that.
customers. Okay, something like this is gonna cost more money. So we should ask business owners and customers, uh, how much more are you willing to pay to use this kind of a product, and is it valuable to them and meaningful? Uh, I don't know what you guys have to say.
Yeah, no, I think that's good. I didn't really think about that. I actually
Yeah.
think convenience stores and gas stations um, are a good idea. You know, like 7-Elevens, you can buy like a Slurpee and all that from them, and like they have straws and whatnot. So they do a lot of business. What do you guys think?
Yeah, it'd be a good one to ask for sure.
Yeah, I mean, like I'll go into a gas station quite a bit since I've moved out here, and there's a large amount of straws coming out of the places.
Okay, cool.
Hello?
What about, I mean, you probably know more about this, Austin. What are some of the like discomforts or problems that happen with like paper straws and
Uh,
whatnot?
well,
Is that
so
something we could explore more, or do we kind of have
I
answers on that?
no, I think definitely that's something to explore because that's like the number one alternative that's available at the moment, and you know, the biggest complaint I've heard, and I mean, I haven't complained about it too much, but like they just start to disintegrate, you know, because they're paper. Um, you know, they're not meant to get wet.
Yeah.
And while the ones I've used are thick, you know, it's like hard paper that's wrapped around again and again
Yeah.
and again. The biggest complaint I hear is that they collapse in the middle of them drinking their drink, like, or maybe not in the middle, but they can't finish their entire drink like they can with the plastic straw. And it's, I just heard this recently. You guys familiar? Well, maybe not you, Jake. I don't know, familiar with all the coffee shops in Boise, but there's this coffee shop called Awakenings off of Overland near the Costco.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and the girl who worked there said that she specifically didn't like paper straws because like they would collapse too soon, um, and they wouldn't serve their purpose. And so I think that's a lot of the same thing. And then also, I know that on the other end of it, like there's metal straws which aren't going to break, but businesses are hard pressed to buy them because they're expensive, and people are gonna steal those. And even if people take like 20 plastic straws, you know, like I remember I took like 30 plastic spoons or forks from Starbucks, and like they don't care. Why? Because, well, they're Starbucks. Like, why would they care? Like, that's immaterial to them, you know. It literally doesn't matter. Um, but I actually, now I think about it, I think that, we could also be appealing to the customer in terms of buying them, because maybe customers would be more willing to buy disposable paper or one-time use paper straws. You know what I mean? Like, instead of investing in the metal straws, which, like, I know now I have people who buy them, but it's like, it's usually just women who use them because they can put them in their purse. But even after they use them, it's like they still got to go to the bathroom and like run them over water and everything. You know what I mean? It's just kind of like inconvenient.
Yeah.
And then you've got like this kind of like dirty straw in your bag. So I feel like we could also appease to the customer in that sense as well, that they'd be more willing to buy maybe some for home, that they'd carry around with them. Oh, I'm drinking sparkling water, by the way. I don't want anyone to think I'm like drinking in the middle of this meeting. so I just kind of noticed on the camera, it kind of looks like a beer bottle.
No, it's all good.
Cool. All right. So those are my thoughts on it. But outside of cost, in customer dissatisfaction, I really don't know what other reasons why a business wouldn't buy them. I mean, I feel like there could be supplier issues, like, who do they buy it from? Are there companies who manufacture them enough? Like, are there manufacturers, but do they only exist, on the East Coast, and it takes over a week for them to get there, when they rather have a distributor or manufacturer, like within Idaho or a state or two away? I don't know if any of those factors play. So I feel like we could explore just the supply of, paper straws in general. I feel like there probably aren't a lot of companies that make them. And I would almost be, I would think that a lot of companies that make plastic straws are the ones who make the paper straws.
Yep.
Okay, so I got an idea for material use. So I don't know, in the real world whether it would work or not, but I know hemp fiber is a really strong and cheap fiber to produce, and which is biodegradable. So yeah, that may be a material that we may be able to introduce to some of the ideas, how we might build this thing.
That is an excellent idea, Vin. That is very true. It is cheap.
Did you guys hear that?
I could hear it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Sorry,
Okay.
I don't know if it's me or somebody. I'm getting spotty connection.
Yeah, me too.
Mine's getting a little spotty too. So
Yeah, I am too.
I don't know what it is either, but unfortunately, so we got about 10 minutes left in this meeting, and then I'm going to have to create another one.
Do you think we can just finish the rest of this meeting on just Google Docs and everybody just throws ideas out there, type stuff in, and then we can sort through it, or we need to be talking?
We have to record it for a certain amount of time, right?
Yeah.
Well, we have to record, but the professor said that he does. There's no time requirement, but he did state that he thinks that 2 hours is the necessary amount of time for a quality meeting. So it's kind of like if you've ever had a professor say, there's no length requirement for your paper, but usually 8 to 12 pages is the length of a quality paper. So I'm not opposed to ending it earlier, to ending it at the end of this, although I'd like for us to be at a consensus that we feel like we're at a good stopping point. And I'd also like to delegate duties to do for each person to have outside of the meeting to contribute to the Google Doc. If everyone else is in agreement.
Yep.
Yeah.
I agree.
Cool. Vin, you're on board?
Yeah, I'm on board with that.
I couldn't hear that last part you said. So we're talking about when we should end the meeting.
Yeah, so I'm not opposed to ending it at the end of this meeting when it expires, which is in 8 minutes. But I would just like to kind of like delegate duties to everyone, so like we kind of all know what we're working on, and then we can complete the portions of the Google Doc that he says he think we should have done this week, and then we can just communicate via WhatsApp for the rest of the week about getting the design brief, uh, made and finished, because he said we're not going to have that finished by the end of this meeting.
So, okay, so if we have two 40-minute meetings, that's an hour and 2 minutes, which is almost half of what was advised. I would vote to go a little longer, just so we're closer to that mark. That's
Okay.
what I propose. I would love to quit, but
Yeah, let's do another 40-minute meeting, and then that'll put us at a good spot then.
Yeah.
Well,
That's good. Yeah, I'm
And then we'll be done with the doc by then, probably. And
Yeah,
Good to
I'm with Vin on
Okay.
that. I'm also just like to throw out there that if we feel like we've completed everything we need to complete it, that we can cut it there, and we don't need to wait till the 40 minutes expires. How do you feel about that, Vin?
sure.
sounds
Okay,
good.
cool. All right, so
okay.
we got about 5 minutes, and then we'll have to create another one, or I'll have to create another one.
So you want to hop on to another topic here?
Yeah.
Is everybody good with target users?
Yeah. I was kind of just going off of the steps he laid out, Vin. So, 'cause it looks like, yeah. Okay. So Vin, correct me if I'm wrong, but I kind of feel like we're at step 4 right now.
Are we at target users?
I feel the step 4 says next discuss the user's likely journey with the selected product or service. Then work together to generate a draft of an initial journey map together, like you did in the user experience observation last week.
Okay. Okay, so this is kind of I'm kind of thinking about where they could start. Okay, so where do you guys think this is going to start? When they walk into the establishment and order their drink, and whether they decide whether they need a straw or not? Because it's just going to be, I'm going to guess there's just going to be one option. It's going to be our straw if the store chooses to use it. And right now we're just kind of mapping our journey. So where do you guys think that should start? Hello?
Okay.
Yeah. So I feel like we will start like the shopping cart experience, where they do the journey map of using like the standard shopping cart, and then they'll kind of like use that to refine their journey map. You know what I mean? Like start with the product that's already in place and what the journey is like that with that, and then you find out how you're like what are the growing pains of that process. So
Yeah, and then we could go interview and explore what like if we could get to a coffee shop that actually uses like paper straws or something, and then see what people like and what they dislike, and make some interviews and whatnot, right?
Yeah, I agree with you. So I was just thinking for about the journey map, like, are we going to go ahead and do the journey map of someone who like just goes into some business that sells beverages of some type that require a straw? Well, don't require one, but people would use a straw for it, and what their experience is like going into said establishment and using a plastic straw from start to finish, you know, like the shopping cart experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And having that and then going from there and then modifying it with our own product. Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah, like, so basically we can find out like what are the downsides to the plastic straw journey. You know, but I don't know, maybe I'm thinking about this from the wrong way. Maybe we just need to do it with our product, you know, and do the journey map and find out like what would be the ups and downs of using our product. The only thing for me is I find that kind of difficult because like I don't know all the ins and outs of the straw we're trying to develop here. Like until there was a prototype, like we wouldn't be able to test it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. I think we should start with the what we have in the market, which is the plastic straws, and then modify our own product with what we have, with the research we have with the current market.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a good starting point. I guess at the end of it too, we could always go back and redo our journey map if we feel. I don't think it's that difficult to do a journey map. So we could always just go back and redo it to, you know, what we think is better from our previous one.
All right.
All right, guys, we got less than a minute here. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to close it out here and then create another one. Sound good, guys?
Sounds good.
Perfect. Yep.
All right. See you guys in a minute.